The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
Sporting Director Rich Hughes is talking today about how he handles the loan players situation. This is what he says.
As things stand, we would anticipate our loanees being here for the full season, but there are obviously details of all three loans which may lead to different circumstances. However, we anticipate all three to be here for the rest of the season. We have 2 spots still available, and if there are other players who are going to come in and improve the starting 11 in the group, then it's something we'll look at. It's nice to have that flexibility. When you go back to my first window at the club, January 2023, we had to move loans out before we could actually loan someone in, and have that ability to operate without restrictions. So it's quite a nice position to be in, as opposed to where we found ourselves a couple of years ago.
So it sounds as though he's just about saying clearly that Pompey are going to borrow at least another 2 players, possibly a left back, possibly a right-sided forward. We'll just have to wait and see. Possibly 2, maybe more, if those unforeseen circumstances that he talked about means that we lose 1, 2, or very unlikely, all 3 of our loan players. So one way or another, as far as loans at least are concerned, it is going to be a busy and an interesting January transfer window.
Pompey CEO Andy Cullen on how Pompey plan their way out of trouble.
You have to be strong to your strategy. If you start having knee-jerk reactions in terms of recruitment, you'll very quickly find yourself in trouble. It'd be very easy to go back to recruiting players towards the ends of their career. Then we go back to where we were 6 or 7 years ago, in a very difficult situation. So we're very, very clear in terms of our focus on the long term, while being mindful it's not just about recruiting young players. We need to bring in that little bit of experience we tried to bring in terms of the likes of John Swift and Connor Chaplin, with a championship pedigree. Connor was an opportunity which came to us towards the end of the window, which again is a player with championship experience. We still feel, over the course of a long season, those players are going to be absolutely crucial to us. They are all players we brought in who could immediately challenge for the first team, and give us more depth than what we had before. What we need to do is to continue to address the here and now challenges we have.
Absolutely correct, 100% spot on. Chief Executive Andy Cullen knows his way around business and knows his way around football and knows his way around management, knows his way around getting the best out of people, staff, colleagues. And that's what he's doing in saying what he's saying at the moment. Knee-jerk reactions are not what's required. Buying players up willy-nilly, haphazardly, because they're available, because they've got a 7-digit price tag, and therefore they must be good, therefore they must be better than what we've got, is so ill-informed and so panicky. Look, it's only just December. There's a long, long way to go, even before the transfer window opens. Is it 7 games, did Rich Hughes say? And then there's about that many games, if not more, during the January transfer window. And then we get into the part of the season that really matters. It's not where you are going into Christmas. It's where you are going into your summer holidays. The owner has made it absolutely clear that he is not going to allow Portsmouth to be relegated this season. Now, most fans will deduce that that means that he is going to start writing some cheques. And he may, I'm not saying he won't, but they're not going to be big cheques, not huge cheques, not the kind of cheques that some of the money bag clubs that are in financial difficulty, don't forget, at the other end of the championship. They might have a lot more points than us. They might have won many more games than us. But the wolf is at the door with those clubs. Ask Sheffield Wednesday what that feels like. We do not want to go there. We will not go there. The others can all go there if that's what they want. Does it keep their fans happy? I don't think so. Go and ask Norwich. Go and ask Ipswich. Are they happy with all the spending that they've been doing and the results that it's given them? And Coventry City already believe they're being tapped up over Frank Lampard's future by some heavyweight Premier League clubs. And there's probably something in that. He is, after all, or was, after all, a heavyweight Premier League player. And people are saying that he did a good job when he was at Chelsea and Everton. The numbers don't actually bear that out. 27% win rate at Everton is not exactly, Champions League material. It's the Championship beckons type performance. However, Coventry are doing well on a big budget, bigger than ours, much bigger than ours, but not as big as some of the other clubs, the high spenders in the Championship, the clubs with parachute payments to flash the cash. So, Andy Cullen is stating what has to be stated, which might be the obvious, but so long as people are starting to mutter, and worst of all, starting to boo the players off the pitch, come on, then he's got to keep saying it. And so he will. A young guy, a Pompey fan called Tom Chappell, writing as a fan on the BBC website, has this to say.
Saturday's opening 25 minutes was the worst I've seen from Pompey this season so far. Until a pause for treatment for Nico Schmid and the opportunity for John Mousinho to rally his troops, we looked lost, slow and completely second best, albeit against a strong and talented Bristol City side. Those in blue looked almost too determined not to be the one to make the costly error, and the Fratton end was beginning to turn nasty. Whatever was said did at least improve Pompey in places, which in turn the crowd responded to, but only via a couple of half chances. There was nothing that happened after those 25 minutes that suggested there was any chance that Mousinho's side would pull off an impressive comeback. We were well beaten at Bramall Lane in midweek, and both Sheffield Wednesday and Norwich have travelled to Fratton Park and taken all 3 points. With that in mind, many would find it hard to argue that Pompey are the worst side in the Championship right now. And what's perhaps most concerning is it doesn't look like this is going to change anytime soon. Without big January investment, Pompey probably won't get out of this. With a fully fit squad, we probably just about have enough. Sadly, it seems we always have at least one big-name player in the treatment room unavailable for selection. The league is stronger this year, and therefore the method of relying on a Mousinho miracle is riskier than it was last season. If you were to pick out a period in which Pompey's season would be defined, games against Charlton, Swansea and Blackburn would probably be it.
It's disappointing, at least I find it disappointing anyway, when a young man who has tremendous enthusiasm for Pompey, you've seen him on video, on YouTube, you've seen him maybe round the back of the fan zone before the game, all smiles and tremendous energy. He is a very enthusiastic Pompey fan and a very enthusiastic internet user. In fact, I think he spends a good deal of his time working on pieces for his various amateur media outlets. And when I say amateur, I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I simply mean that I don't think he's a professional journalist, and I don't think he's in any way connected with the professional side of football, apart from being an enthusiastic Pompey fan, which needs to be made clear because the BBC seem to imply, when they published that piece that you just listened to, that it's the BBC talking. OK, maybe they're short of pixel space on the screen, but that isn't the BBC, which is how they footnoted it, that piece. Is this the worst? Are Pompey the worst side in the league? BBC. Footnoting it like that suggests that it's coming out of the mouth of a professional, of a journalist. It isn't. It's coming from somebody who's very sad inside because Pompey aren't kicking on in the way that he, like most of us, felt that we were likely to do, having made the summer signings that we made. And I didn't hear anybody saying that those summer signings were going to be a shortfall. Nobody. And his point about this being a stronger league than it was this time last year, I don't know if he listens to Pompey Sound, but I think we posted that one first, thanks mainly to an excellent correspondent that we have, who, dare I say it, may know more about football. He's an American, born in Montana, living and working in LA, California, may possibly know more about football and indeed Pompey than our 20-year-old friend Tom Chappell. I think suggesting that all Pompey have to do to get out of this is spend is just so far wide of the mark. If he's been following for 20 minutes, Pompey, never mind about 20 years or however long it is, he will know that when we tried to do that, we almost went under. It took us years and years and years of graft to rectify that series of blunders. We're not going to do it again. We didn't need to do it to get to where we got, which was 16th, 17th in the Championship last season. And whilst we will have some acquisitions, we are not going to buy £15 million rated Brazilian wingers, which is one silly rumour that I've seen posted somewhere. So, Tom, keep up your enthusiasm and keep up the amusement, the entertainment that you provide with your various activities. But I'm not sure whether the, in inverted commas, information that you supply is of the same high calibre. Yet. There's time. He's only just left school.